Hey guys, it's your boy R's back at it again with another video. So on Monday, I was still doing my work when I noticed a sudden flood of community posts and comment after comment after comment of people complaining about this period's memory of chaos from all types of content creators and players alike. So I see all this, right? And I get inspired. The one that inspired me was Mr. Pokey. He said, "We're gonna talk about this, right?" And I'm looking through the comments, like everybody's talking about, "Oh, this is taking me 15 cycles. My facial can't do shit. This is insane. How are we supposed to complete this? Is this a meta check?" And I'm like, let's see if the hype is all there, right? So I decide I'm gonna live stream for the first time ever on YouTube, and I'm gonna do this shit live, the whole memory chaos, just a spur of the moment thing. Why not, right? New year, new me. I'm just trying new things. So I get to Memory of Chaos 12. Of course, the floor that everybody is talking about. And I'm like, this is quite annoying. But after an hour, I was able to figure it out and I cleared it in exactly 10 cycles. And for just a bit, I actually felt sorry for free to plays and low spenders. I believed the GHEC. I truly believed that this Memory of Chaos really was as hard as they were saying it was. Two days. That's all it took me to figure out a sustainless clear for both sides. 2 days. I said it would take me 2 weeks. 2 days. And I used one of the characters that people were saying doesn't really work. Facial. Yep, my standard wombo combo facial team. The faster clear of the two sides. One cycle. I was right the first time. It wasn't hard. It was never hard. And this is once again, not even, and what I've realized is, I thought that the GHEC was a loud minority. No. This appears to be at least half or more of the player base. I mean, I'm sure that you guys have seen the same thing I have. It doesn't take that long to find, even if you're not looking. Everyone is complaining about HP inflation and power creep. Mr. Pokey makes a tweet calling out the GHEC. And it ends up being a 1v9. Him versus basically 9 other content creators. Whole community turns on him. Oh, that ain't that ain't no minority, man. No minority at all. And me, as a free to play, as someone who actually took the time and reduced the amount of cycles that it took them from 10 to 4 for this Memory of Chaos. I'm glad that Mr. Pokey stuck his neck out because all he did was validate my videos. That's all he did. I knew these players would take no accountability when it came to dealing with HP inflation, to dealing with power creep, no accountability, none whatsoever. Whereas me, I'm over here as a free to play. It took me 2 days with my shitty relics and my teams that shouldn't work, and I figured it out. By the way, for this quote unquote hardest memory of chaos of all time, the previous memory of chaos, I don't know if you saw that. If you're actually subscribed to my channel and you watch my videos, my Acheron run with Mose, that took me about 3 hours to figure out. Memory of Chaos 12, my sustainless clear with Himiko, took me 4 hours to complete. Figuring out both the first half and the second half took me combined 3 hours. So it took me the same amount of time, essentially, that it always takes me. I'm just annoyed. I'm just annoyed that I got baited again. And I changed I for just a second changed my opinions because the voices were loud enough. Something else I talked about in my video. There's so many of them yapping. But the instant that you suggest, maybe it's you. Maybe it's you not following the mechanics of the Memory of Chaos. Maybe it's you who poorly planned your account. Maybe it was you who were hyping up all these characters that were not future-proof like you claimed. And now that you made a mistake and you got useless characters on your account, maybe that's you. Because as a free-to-play, I have been clearing every single Memory of Chaos since 3 months into the game. Never failed. Not once. I just wanted to get this monologue off my chest before we go into reviewing this. I'm also going to bring up something that's pretty at the end because I also stated this shit in my video too. There's something else that I called that makes these runs even more interesting that I didn't think about while I was making those runs. I have something even more interesting to bring up. Next part of this video, I'm just going to go over the builds, and then I'm going to split up the first half explanation and the second half explanation and get to our conclusion. Moving on. So I'm not going to waste too much time going over the builds. I have gone over my builds so many times already, but I just want to show people what things are looking like in case they're new to my channel. I have an E0, S0 Acheron. Just playing her on the standard water set. I think it's Dead Waters. Is that what it's called? Yeah, the Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. It's probably the best built character on my account. E1, S1 Ron May. E0, S0 Fugue, running an SI5 resolution. The Harmony main character. So as you can see, I'm running Super Break Acheron. It works. Should it work? Probably not. This isn't what Acheron was put into the game for. Not at all. Don't have 2 Nihility. and I'm using a mechanic that she wasn't built for, I don't care. I do what I want. I made it work. Then, of course, my standard facial wombo combo team. Look at how terrible my stats are, by the way. I should have about 134 speed, so I haven't reached that breakpoint yet. My crit damage is too low, and I have no eidolons. That's what made my sustainless clear actually so annoying on the second half. That's the side that took me longer, because my stats suck. If they didn't, would have figured it out in like 30 minutes. And that's what it is. Got my March, orange swordplay, no eagle. No eagle spam today. Just standard musketeer. Got our E1 S1 Robin, the character that I called months ago. I said she is going to be worth being E1 S1, the first limited E1 S1 on my account. She has been carrying me ever since I said that. Called it. I still remember that prior to Robin's release, people were downplaying her, saying she was never going to be as good as Ron May. Aged like milk. And here I am, doing what most free-to-play players cannot do. And last but not least, good old Bronya. Because unlike Sunday, she can 100% action advance anybody. The summons doesn't make a difference to me right now, because Path's not out. No remembrance. But Bronya here, she still does what I need her to do. And mark my words, this team you see here, minus the Bronya, add remembrance main character. Mark my words, will be the best free-to-play meta team in the entire game. No sustain needed. If I had remembrance main character for this team, I would have zero cycled it. And instead of this being a 4-cycle clear, it would have been a 3-cycle clear. And I haven't even fully optimized the runs that I'm going to show you either. E1, using some boo-boo relics, not speed tuned, just doing what I feel like. And I make it work because I can. As you can see, out of all the characters before you, only one has 145 speed or greater. So keep that in mind. And let's get started with the first walkthrough that I have ever done on this YouTube channel. Alright, so we're on to the first half. As I stated before, this is the first time me doing this on my channel, so I'm going to try to explain it to the best of my ability. I did do a recording yesterday, but I was angry and tired yesterday anyway, so I think it's better that I think it's just better for me that my recording that I did previously didn't work out, because now I get to break this into parts, be more calm, be more focused, and properly explain these runs to you. So of course, start off with all the techniques. The passive ones obviously having a lot of value in this game, because having the ability to buff your whole team 3 times and then enter battle with one of the strongest techniques in the game value is immeasurable because you're able to get the absolute maximum benefit of your characters and then hit them hard as hell before your opponent even get a chance to do anything and they can't stop you. Now, I'm sure that some of you might be thinking that I'm going to use Fugue's ability, which says that you can essentially ignore the toughness of all weakness types and apply that to Acheron because, it would give her 2 stacks. I'm actually going to give it to the Harmony main character. The reason why I do that is because if he gets the opportunity to break the enemy, Imaginary has the strongest action value delay in the game. So if I give it to him and I get a chance to properly time those breaks, you can delay the enemy. With this whole team, if you break them with Harmony main character, they're going to get moved down by like 100+ action value. And I'm going to show that to you. Unfortunately, like I said, I haven't been able to optimize my runs. So every time that I do a break, it's not going to be with him. But in this first part, you are going to see just how overpowered it is. So as we already talked about earlier, we're just going to target Harmony main character with Fugue. Get our all off. The reason why we target the Trotter first is just to get a debuff. So Harmony characters just double as Nihility characters. So not only does her breaking an enemy and providing that frozen debuff count towards Acheron stacks, but her ultimate also counts towards Acheron stacks when she applies the flower over their head. Yeah, that's a debuff. So she actually works very perfectly with Acheron for that reason. Unfortunately, we got to take some hits, especially the biggest part of the RNG is going to be from her. As you saw a few seconds ago, she fires out a beam of light, and of course, it can stun you. And if you do get stunned, you gotta start over because none of your characters can get stunned. You typically don't want Acheron to get hit, but in this scenario, I just decided to play it out. It's not that big of a deal. But we put all of our characters that should have, well, I mean, everyone here has the exact same taunt value. All their taunt values is 100. I put the more tankier characters over here on the right and I hope that they will target this group here. Obviously, if my Acheron gets knocked out, then that's game over and we have to restart the whole run. We're going to focus on the Wolf first since he already has imaginary weakness. And because we're playing Harmony main character on Messenger, being able to spam his ultimate is beneficial in just being able to move the whole team up. Now, normally, I would have liked to save Fugue's ultimate for the next cycle when the Trotters come out, because I'm not going to be able to kill everybody on this cycle. It's just not happening. But the reason why I have to do this is because otherwise the enemies aren't going to be broken. And you have to treat your sustainless clears like boxing. One of the primary principles of boxing is hit and don't get hit. So if you want to attempt doing this, all you have to remember, how do I hit the enemy without getting hit myself? And so if I'm put in a scenario where I had the opportunity to break them so that I can preserve my character's HP and their longevity, I'm going to take it. So even though I would have liked to hold this, I'm using it now because I have to break these enemies so that they stop doing damage to me. So we fire that off, get the Trotters out the game, and we ult immediately. I thought maybe I'd be able to break them both, but of course, this asshole has a pixel. Can't be helped. If I could figure out a way to guarantee this breaks Would have been very beneficial to me, but it is what it is. I end up using my skill, obviously. I shatter that. Now we just hold off. We're not breaking anybody until Harmony main character comes up. Obviously, we want that gigantic break so we can get the biggest delay as humanly possible. Now, look at their action values. We got 38. We got 40. Look at what Harmony main character does to him with this fucking menacing grin on his face. Crank him, John. Boom. 144, 195. What a goddamn tragedy. So they both got hit for well over a 100 action value delay. Sucks to suck. Am I right? You're just going to play this out normally. Get our basics. And like I said, the reason why I wanted to hold the Fugue ult is because we want to hit the Trotters. But we're going to skill here because we got to lower it so that we can get these guys out of here. Get the basic. Now, another thing that I would have preferred to do is hold on to my Harmony main character ult for when the next phase starts, but I'm in a position where I really don't want to go into another cycle. That's the first thing. And the second thing is I figured, listen, I will probably take a lot of damage, but he will get his ult back fast anyway, and I think I would prefer to have the faster run than the most optimal run. So in this scenario, I decided to go for the faster run. Now, I know you might think, wait, but the faster run is more optimal. For me, it's not optimal in the way that I want, so I'm calling it inoptimal, but it is faster, so we're going to do it this way. Even though it doesn't make sense, that's the logic that I'm using. I'm a very odd free-to-play player, I know. That's why I'm trying this madness. So we just broke the Trotter, got rid of one of them, and we're just going to finish him off here. We're going to skill, again, get that up, perfect. Get our skill off, and this should be death. As soon as the wave starts, immediate Acheron ult, gonna get rid of these two Trotters, start lowering these guys down. Now, one of the other things, the reason why I said this wasn't optimal is the other part of that is I have no skill points, which just obviously puts me at a disadvantage. So I'm gonna take a lot of damage here, but it honestly doesn't matter just because we've been following our standard and most key boxing principle, which is to hit and not get hit. And for that reason, our team is healthy. We can take the 4 attacks that we're about to get hit with. And that's why I was like, oh shit, I have no skill points. Oh well, got a basic. But if I had saved my ultimate, I would have actually been able to bring up Fugue with him if I had the skill points and the ultimate, and we could have gotten a little bit closer to breaking. We actually, we would have broken the Wolf because I've tested it before, but when I've done it, it's always taken me 4 cycles, and doing it this way takes me 3 cycles. Though I actually prefer doing it the 4 cycle way just because it's cleaner and I take less damage, but I was trying to do it more efficiently, so I ended up doing it this way. You're just going to take the attacks. We're fine. Our Harmony main character and our Ron May are both insanely tanky, so I'm not worried about that damage. I'm just going to ult here, get a skill point back, because we got that sick light. That's the reason why we don't pull for DPS light cones. We don't care about DPS light cones. When you're a free-to-play player, you want to prioritize very strong supports to make up for your shitty relics and you want those sig light cones so you can use the absolute optimal play of that support that you're using. So that's the reason why on my Sunday, I have the signature light cone on him. I got the signature light cone on Rame, and I had the signature light cone on Robin. I only have one DPS light cone, and that was Sele. She's the only one that has it. And the only reason why I pulled for it is because at the time, dead patch, and I thought that I was going to be using her forever and ever and ever. Didn't turn out to be true. But I still do use her at the very least. I used her in the previous Memory of Chaos last week. So I don't regret that. But I definitely could have got a better one. We're just going to lower them. We're going to use our ult here. Just break them. Now we're going to use that boy. Now, unfortunately, I don't think right here, even though this is a good spot to be in, I don't think that he used... I think that the bounce wasn't that good for me. So I don't think that either one of them are going to get imaginary broken. But it's fine because once we break them both, they are not getting back up. Just the delay from Ron, May, and Fugue alone is enough. If you manage to get the Harmony main character to break them, you just win more, essentially. So we're going to fire this off. Oh, I actually do get one. So we actually do get one. I thought that I didn't get a chance to get either one of them. So let's go back. He was at 15 AV. He was at 15 AV. Look at him. Oh, shit. Prank him, John. You already know. Just like that. He's not... By the way, when characters get hit this hard and they have, like, they're down by over 100, that is a full cycle of them not being able to touch you. This is a full cycle. He can't do shit. He's out the game. He's done. And I can still break him again. So I said, screw it. Who cares? Go into my ult. Save it for the Trouters when they come back out. Get some more damage on them. And look at that. One out. Gonna do a little basic. Get our ult back. Not doing anything crazy. We know it's over. We're just coasting. We're just coasting. That's all we're doing. I'm gonna use an ult. Move everyone up a little bit. Not that it matters. We've already done what we need to do. Doesn't matter that we're not skill point efficient. Because it's GG's. Just like that. Yep. That's it. By the way, this method here that I'm using, the Super Break Acheron team, this literally only took me an hour to figure out. I was using a sustainless Acheron team comp before, obviously, but it sucked, so I put on the Harmony main character. And I had I de-relicked my fucking Harmony main character. I was thinking that I wasn't going to be using him anymore. And then this Memory of Chaos came out, and I realized, like, wait, Super Break should be, like, insanely overpowered in this Memory of Chaos. Because it doesn't matter if they have a shit ton of HP. You're just going to be doing colossal damage the instant that you break them. So I said, let me put Harmony main character on here. And within an hour, got it to work. So that's the first half. To me at least, it seems pretty straightforward. The objective is to break the enemies as fast as possible. If possible, get your Harmony main character to go ahead and break them even further so that they get massive delays. And if they can't touch you, they can't win. That's it. All it boils down to. And then, of course, you actually abuse the mechanics that the developers give you to finish them off. That's all you gotta do. But now that we got that out the way, we can move on to the second half, which is the more entertaining half because of how difficult it was. And then we can start wrapping up this video. All right, now to the second part of this Memory of Chaos. Now, I just want to say off rip, this is going to be massively harder than the other side. That's the reason why it took me 2 hours to figure this one out, because you're literally balancing so much with this clear. You got to balance your skill points. You got to balance the ads, because if you let too many of the bugs spawn when you get to that part of the boss fight, I mean, you'll just get wiped out via dots. Then on top of that, you got to balance your stacks with not only your Fei Shao, but you also got to balance your stacks with your March 7th. And if you don't use all of those stacks that you're getting effectively, this run is literally just, it's not plausible, especially with the setup I have. Now, if you have a more speed tune and a higher damage setup, it's not that bad. It is definitely possible to do it with this team if you have a more optimal setup. I've already seen it been done, but with my setup, not possible unless you balance all the things I just told you about correctly. So the idea here is that we're going to treat this a little bit like math. We're going to subtract the main robot body first, then we're going to get rid of the trotter, then use a trotter to wear down the shield guy. By first, we try to get a little tick of damage here, not with the technique, but we're going to have Robin basic attack. I'm going to show you that in a few moments. She's going to do a basic attack, and Fei Shao is going to follow up on this trotter. The reason why that's important is because eventually I'm going to shift focus to this boss. If we don't miss our crits, what we should be able to do is we should be able to skill on Fei Shao when he's like already on his knees and he's about to be out. Skill on Fei Shao, and we're hoping that we hit this trotter here and he dies, which weakens him. Or we hope that that Fei Shao follow-up hits him instead, and then we just finish him off that way. Because unfortunately, after you kill an enemy, if you have additional follow-ups, the rest of the follow-ups are random. So we're going to focus this guy first, primarily because this enemy here can actually lower his own HP, so it's beneficial to leave him alive, because he's going to do part of the work for you. And also, we don't want to get hit by this goddamn chainsaw, because those bleeds will kill us. All the dots that are applied by these enemies will completely cook you. So if you're not prepared for that, it's just not a fun time. But enough of my yapping. Let's actually get into the run. I just wanted to explain some things before I do it. So we're going to skill with Robin, bring her back up with Bronya again. Sunday cannot do that. We get our follow-up on that, lower just a little bit. That's enough, right? We obviously skill Fei Shao. This is just standard stuff. We're going to use the ultimate to lower down his toughness. And then right here, we're going to use a basic because we have to preserve our skill points. Unfortunately, one of the things that is so RNG based about this run is that how many skill points you end on depends very highly on Bronya and her E1 proccing. And it also depends on how much damage you do. The more damage you do, the more skill points you end up with. The less damage you do, the more you have to waste. So there's a lot that goes into it. You could literally go into the next cycle with 3 to 4 skill points, or you could go from that to 2 to 0. So it's a very large fluctuation, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't go into the next phase with at least one skill point, at least one, you're not going to be able to complete it. So what we end up doing here is we're going to ult with Fei Xiao and Bronya. And the reason why we're doing it right here is because you'll see he has a pixel, which is just perfect. And then March 7th is going to get her 7th stack and is going to be moved up the action order. The reason why we do it this way is because my March does way more break effect damage than my Fei Xiao does. So he'll get hit with a very heavy delay and get hit with more break damage. And then after we do that, we can use Fei Xiao to finish him off. And like I said earlier, we're going to hope that our random follow-ups either kills this Trotter to lower his health, or we hope that we hit him himself. We don't want to hit this guy over here, because if we hit him, the whole thing is kind of cooked. We got to start over. We got to have him take damage before we start focusing on him. So we're just going to ult here. Will him down. Can't really miss any crits here, because if we miss our crits, then he's not going to die. So we're at a very good spot, because we basically hit all of our crits right here at 262,000. If we didn't hit our crits, it would have been like 200,000 or less than that, which I have seen. It sucks. But he is low enough. This is low enough. We can just go ahead and get a skill here. Get him out. And then we get additional follow-up. March ends up targeting the other elite boss. We definitely would have preferred if the Trotter had gotten hit. But in this scenario, this also works. So we're in our proper condition needed to clear this and 0 cycles. Get hit. I mean, it's not preferable, but it is what it is. One of the more unfortunate parts of this run is because, as I showed you guys earlier, my team is not properly speed tuned. My hunt characters kept getting targeted a lot by the minions, meaning that they just kept getting bled out over and over again, or they would just get lit up by standard basics. And there's not a lot that you can do about that. You would think that Bronya would take more of the taunt, since she has more taunt value than my Fei Xiao and my imaginary March 7th. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way. You're not fast enough, so the minions tear you to shreds. However, we were able to figure it out. We were able to get lucky enough. So we're whittling them down. Going to use our enhanced basic. We're going to break him. And we have to use all these resources, because otherwise he will not die. So, and you see right there, I was about to be at 1, but because the E1 procced in, that's the reason why we were able to go into the next cycle with 1. As long as we have 1, we can do it. If we end on 0, that's an immediate reset. We're screwed. Just not doable. So we're able to get the skill, finish him off. So the key to this side is actually the minions that the True Sting spawns off. However, because of the skill points that we're at, we have to change strategies. If we had 3 to 4 skill points, what we would end up doing is we would focus the minions down first. We'll focus all of them down, get them out the way, let them apply vulnerabilities to the True Sting and to the Trotters, because those minions will kill the Trotters for you, so you don't have to target them at all. But because we have 1 or 2 skill points, what we have to do is we can focus down just one minion, and we have to use the rest of our attacks, our enhanced basics with March and our ultimate from Fei Xiao. We had 10 stacks. We're looking good. We have to use all that on the True Sting, because if we let the True Sting go off on us and get those AoEs that he gets off, if he starts getting those off, we're done. Like, we can't afford to have our whole team get hit multiple times during this run. We don't care about the basics that he does. His little damage over time, it is what it is, but those AoEs will cook us. Our Harmony characters can take it because they have a lot of defense. These guys can't. So we're going to use the basic here to whittle them down. Missed a lot of crits there, but it is what it is. Fortunately, our Harmony characters got hit there as opposed to our hunts, because like I said, in other runs, my Fei Xiao and IM7 got beamed. So because we have a skill point to spare, we're going to go ahead and focus that down. Like I said, lowers the trotters. Going to bring her back up. And unfortunately, we have to ult because otherwise we're wasting stacks. We're already at maximum. So we're just going to bring his toughness bar down. And then we're going to do a basic here so we can preserve. And then at this scenario, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And I realized I had no choice but to break the sting. So we got to remember, Imaginary has the greatest action value delay in the game, right? He was at 33. Go for the ult. And he gets dropped to 75. It's just enough for us to get all our attacks in, use our ultimate on our Robin again, and then we can completely finish him off. All this to avoid the AoE. That's how scary it is for us. We're just going to use our ult here while our Robin is still up with her ultimate. Get that damage in. We have to unfortunately take some of these DLTs. We're lucky here because they target my Robin, who is very tanky. And now we're just going to focus on the minions because we don't have to worry about the sting for a bit. So we're just going to focus our stats in here, build up our skill points, get those back up, build our energy with our Bronya, get our stacks up with Fei Xiao. We're going to skill here because we can afford it. Then we're going to ult here with Robin first. Then we're going to use Bronya's ultimate because obviously she action value is 100%. If you do the Bronya ult first, then everybody's going to just lose a turn of that value. And because minions exploded, a minion exploded, we got the trotters out the way. It takes, I think, 2 explosions from the minions in order to kill them. But the crazy part is we're literally not even going to use the trotters for the next health bar of this enemy. We're not even going to need it. We're not going to target them at all. We don't care. After we get to this point, we're essentially coasting. As long as our team doesn't get put in the red and then start getting hit with dots, we're fine. The most important thing is that all these minions here are going to help us secure victory, because all these vulnerabilities that we're going to end up applying to this main boss, because we're killing them off, is going to make ending him in the next cycle just that much easier. So we go ahead and we target this, get a guarantee, get him out of there. I'm going to skill again, bring my Fei Xiao back up. I decided to wait first, get another vulnerability before using my ultimate. We're thinking about it. We use the basic here because we know we gotta preserve the skill points. We're at 10 stacks, and then our march is also up, so we're just gonna start beaming them down. Unfortunately, I missed a crit there, but it's all right. 370,000, stacking up a little bit now. Now we're gonna use our ultimate, and this time we're going to target the minions because he was up here a few seconds ago. We'll rewind a little bit. Oh, skipped a little bit too far. Goddamn. But yeah, he was up there. He had 53 AV. And then we cook him, and he gets moved all the way down here now. He's at, well, it's set 93, and it just adjusted to 45 because we went to the next cycle. We're just focusing the minions now. Get all of those vulnerability stacks in there. Now we got all the minions out. Like I said, we don't even need the Trotters. The Trotters are irrelevant. We don't care about them. All right? He's at half health. 5 vulnerability debuffs on his head. Brian's about to get the ult. I got 8 stacks on Face Shell. About to do an enhance. That is game over. So just to recap, during the first half of this boss, you're focusing on getting 1 minion out and then breaking the true sting so that he can't hit you. That's the first part of it. It depends on whether and how many skill points you have. But in this scenario, because we had 1 or 2 skill points, 1 minion, then you focus true sting. After you break his first health bar and you go into the second phase, you're going to let the minions all come out. It's fine. You kill all the minions, it's GG's. Just make sure the minions don't touch you. Because if the minions start going off on you, those will kill you. All those DOTs will cook your shit. So you got to get rid of the minions, not only so that you can get these vulnerability debuffs, but so that you're not getting cooked by DOTs. We're going to keep using the boxing philosophy because it just works perfectly here. We got to hit them as much as possible so that they don't hit us. It's really that simple. Get the basic 321,000 damage. Got our Bronya. Got our ult. Perfectly timed. It's game over. Hit him with the cinematic finish. Doing all that hot shit. Made me suffer for 2 hours. 633,000 with no missed crits. That's it. Lights out. All right, we're finally in the final leg of the video. I'm just going to try to wrap this up. I want to go back to Past Me for a bit because he said something interesting that directly applies to this video. So we're going to go to Past Me and then we're going to talk about what Past Me said. Not only that, in order to make sure that free-to-play players actually are able to do something with the difficulty spike of the game, they have given us OP free characters. Did we forget? We got the Broken Harmony main character form that literally defined an entire meta. And people forget about that. Just as a little reminder, in no mainline Hoyoverse game has a main character been released for free that has changed the entire meta of a game. So in this game, we got a free, broken, meta-defining unit that anybody can get with every single Eidolon just for playing the game. Then they gave us a free imaginary March 7th. A character that literally allows you to play her in 2 different ways. You can either use her as a break support, or you can just use her as a follow-up damage support. The developers have given us so many tools, so many quality of life changes to combat the difficulty spikes in the game. And people either forget about those things, or they don't use them. The developers gave us the tools to handle the difficulty spikes and handle the HP inflation. And it seems pretty obviously to me that the players did not use these key characters that helped me in both of my runs. Both of them free. Were you paying attention? Who were the key characters? You're looking at right at one. He's right there in front of you. The Harmony main character. And the other is Imaginary March 7th. Harmony main character on the first side allows me to get more consistent breaks and prevent the enemy from hitting me. And Imaginary March 7th, if I did not have her to run with Fei Xiao, my team wouldn't work. Forget Bronya, forget Robin. No Imaginary March 7th, my Fei Xiao stacks are too damn slow. The generation is too slow. And then, because she's imaginary, if you get fortunate enough to break the bosses with her ultimate or her enhanced basic, you can stop them from moving for a period of time so that you can regroup and then go off again. Without her, I could not make that possible. It just wouldn't work. But you would be compelled, if you listen to all the complaining from all these different content creators and all these people, the GHEC, you will be compelled to believe that the developers never gave you anything to challenge this Memory of Chaos with. Hell, I've seen people clear 0 cycles with Dr. Ratio, who they gave to us for free. Hunt wasn't supposed to work here. Meanwhile, I've seen how many hunts work with this Memory of Chaos? Boot Hill deleting everything on that first half or the second half. He can just do whatever he wants. Dr. Ratio, Fei Xiao, IM7. I thought we weren't supposed to use single targets. That wasn't how that's supposed to work. Well, that wasn't right. Now, was it? Unfortunately, I'm going to have to talk about this dumbass war that Pokey started, because it literally directly correlates back to my other videos, and I would be a moron if I didn't cover it in some way, shape, or form. I'm not going to be able to cover everything, but we're just going to look at it from a free-to-play perspective. And I think that it'll be very enlightening for, instead of you listening to all these different players who have spent various amounts of money and time and energy on the game, just hear from somebody who's been playing the game without spending a single cent. I'm very relatable. I say relatable in quotations because that's how people describe content creators. You're either relatable or you're not, via everyone's logic and their determination for who's relatable or not. I should be very relatable because I haven't spent any money. I'm just going to give you my perspective there. That's not going to be coming out tomorrow or immediately, but that should be coming out in the next week or so. We're just going to watch this shit play out. I'm going to do some reaction videos. Maybe I'll work on some of that during the week, because literally all I got to do is sit there and watch a video. I don't really do any editing. And hopefully I can provide some of a bit of a different perspective there. So if you liked the video, hit the like, subscribe for more content. Hopefully the explanations that I provided you were useful. I'm a bit verbose. I already know that. I know I'm a verbose person. I talk a lot. I yap a lot. I'm a master yapper. It is what it is. But hopefully the timestamps will help out with that I'm going to put in the video. But yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content, and your boy Rs is out.